When the fourth generation Mitsubishi Outlander first hit showrooms a couple of years ago, it drew in quite a bit of attention and raised a lot of eyebrows across the industry, because the Outlander was looked to as being the affordable compact crossover with an amazing warranty, which it still holds today in 2023. But the fourth generation is quite different, where we have a vehicle that's built on a Nissan Rogue platform, has Nissan technology, but better yet, has Mitsubishi styling. But the fourth generation also introduces the second generation of the plug-in hybrid trim. And since the compact crossover market is moving in the electric direction, I wanted to check out this vehicle once again to see what value it's providing in the plug-in hybrid market. In this video, we're going to go over everything. We're going to check out the exterior, the interior, take it out for a test drive, and also see why, if you are looking at buying a plug-in hybrid today in 2023, then maybe taking a look at the Mitsubishi Outlander might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Central Mitsubishi in Raynham, Massachusetts for allowing me to do this review. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Mitsubishi inventory. Also, before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you're notified every time a new video goes live on the channel. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right in this review. In 2023, the Mitsubishi Outlander is the brand's undisputed bestseller and most popular vehicle within the lineup, with most of its success being attributed to Mitsubishi's partnership with Nissan. In a little over 2 years, this crossover has set expectations rather high for future endeavors from this Japanese manufacturer, as they've proven they're capable of developing and producing a compact SUV that's more than just being affordable. With hybrid and plug-in hybrid vehicles gaining traction in the US, the Outlander is unquestionably a dark horse in this market, as Mitsubishi's experience with electrified crossovers gives them an inside track against rivals. Starting off with pricing, the model we have today is an SEL, coming in at just under $45,500, which these days would be par for the course in the plug-in hybrid market. However, Mitsubishi once again capitalizes on its ability to be an affordable option for buyers, as a base ES can be had for just above 40 grand. It's no secret that the transition to hybrid technology does come at a cost, especially when you're cross-shopping the competition. Yet the Outlander is quite the compelling choice, as it's been unfairly overlooked in recent years. Identical in size to the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4, this crossover does have the practicality and utility to match the very best in this segment. And with a ground clearance of around 8 inches, you should have no problem taking on unplowed roads during the winter, especially with all-wheel drive coming standard. Sometimes with hybrid and plug-in hybrid vehicles, brands add some aesthetics that set them apart from the conventional vehicle it's based on. Yet the only distinguishable cosmetic difference would be the badging along the side of the Outlander. By not altering the road presence in any way, this crossover looks both aggressive and capable, and the usage of chrome doesn't take away from the design where the Outlander appears tacky. With the SEL trim, you receive full LED lighting, from the daytime running lights to the fog lights, and with the separate housings, this SUV has a trendy stature that's also cutting edge. The brushed aluminum accents found on the lower portion of the front bumper does add some off-road worthy undertones, and with a minimal amount of visible plastic cladding, the Outlander does look stylish. Moving over to the side profile, our model is sitting on 20-inch, two-toned alloy wheels, and while typically larger tires would be a detriment to the ride quality, it's masked by the plug-in hybrid being close to 1,000 pounds heavier than a full gas-powered model, providing a lower center of gravity and smoother on-road performance. You'll have body color folding side mirrors with turn signal indicators, to go along with blind spot detection for added safety. Then making our way around to the back, just like for the front fascia, you'll have LED taillights to once again give the Outlander a modern and classier design. Adding a sense of symmetry, the brushed aluminum rear diffuser does offer a nice color contrast on our model, and no surprise with this being a PHEV, you won't have visible exhaust outlets. Despite its boxier shape, there are strong body lines that run the length of the Outlander. And even though we wouldn't look at this crossover as being dynamic, the subtle sporty aesthetic cues does go a long way when it comes to first impressions. Under the hood, the Outlander PHEV is powered by a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine and 3 electric motors to produce a combined 248 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. And rather than calling the transmission a CVT, Mitsubishi refers to it as a 1-speed. Whether it's clever marketing or being fully transparent, there are no mimicked gear shifts like you'd experience with a gas-powered Outlander, which in effect creates a unique sensation, as the plug-in hybrid almost feels like an EV under heavy accelerations. In this market, crossovers that use both gas and electric motors aren't the quickest. However, the Outlander comes in with a respectable 6.6 second 0 to 60 time, allowing you to enter highways in a safe manner. Best of all, the available torque when passing slower drivers makes lane changes effortless. As mentioned earlier, all-wheel drive does come standard, and when it pertains to fuel economy, you're looking at a combined average of 26 miles per gallon. However, when fully charged, the Outlander can travel 38 miles on full electric power, falling right in line with its closest rivals. Stepping inside, this is where you'll be most impressed with the Outlander, if you haven't had the opportunity to check one out since the 4th generation hit showrooms. You're immediately greeted by power adjustable and heated leather seats for both the driver and passenger, with both sides having memory seat functionality, which is uncommon within this segment. Not only does seat positioning give you a traditional SUV feel when you are behind the wheel, they also provide a lot of cushioning and support. In front of you will be a full digital gauge cluster, and as briefly discussed earlier in this video, Nissan's current technology transforms the Outlander's interior to resemble competitors in this market. But also, this display is customizable and showcases plenty of information. Through the $2,200 SEL Touring Package, a 10.8-inch head-up display will help keep your eyes on the road ahead rather than looking down at screens. And also part of this package is a heated leather-wrapped steering wheel, the 9-speaker Bose premium sound system, and panoramic sunroof, adding some creature comforts and amenities to your ownership experience. Then taking a glance over to the infotainment system, you'll have a 9-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility to go along with onboard navigation for the SEL. Just like with the gauge cluster, this is the same user interface that will be found in the current Nissan Rogue, and by using the physical buttons mounted just beneath the screen, you can quickly and conveniently get to different menus, and there'll be dials for the volume and tuning, which altogether is becoming less common to see even in this price range. While not too surprising, this head unit isn't complex or in-depth, so there won't be much of a learning curve when hopping inside the Outlander for the first time. One of the benefits to opting for the SEL will be a multi-angle camera system with trajectory to help you park this crossover. And further compounding the safety the Outlander provides, you'll have rear cross-traffic alert and rear automatic braking. As you work your way towards the center console, you'll find a row of buttons and dials for the climate control settings, AC, front and rear defrosters, and 3-level heated seats. And beneath that, you'll have a wireless phone charging pad and a USB-C and USB input. Next to the gear shifter will be a drive mode selector, where you can scroll through a number of different drive modes, including Eco, Normal, and Tarmac. Then to round out the front seating area, for the center storage compartment, you'll have enough room for smaller items, including a smartphone and wallet. Now moving on to the second row, we're going to start off on the passenger side. And this seat has been adjusted all the way back and is somewhat on a recline. And I have plenty of legroom here. Now when we take a look at interior dimensions for the second row, the Mitsubishi Outlander is offering close to 40 inches of legroom, which would be close to being class leading in this segment. One thing I have noticed with the Outlander, whether it was last generation or this generation, it has mid-size crossover tendencies and qualities, and with that, you have plenty of interior room. Now, to compound that, the second row seats do slide on rails, so you can move them forwards and backwards to maximize that legroom. Also, they do recline a bit by around 5 to 10 degrees, not giving you too much extra headroom, but if you do have taller passengers, they can at least get some of those extra comforts that you're going to be looking for if you are around the height of maybe 5'10" and above, because you are going to hit your head on the headliner if you are a taller passenger. However, I think that if you're on the height of maybe 5'8" or 5'9", that won't be an issue at all. Then moving on to the center seat, surprising to see for a vehicle that does have all-wheel drive, the center hump really isn't that aggressive at all, and you do have good placements for your feet. Now, I do think that in a squeeze or in a pinch, you can try fitting in that third person back here, and people shouldn't feel too cramped depending on the size of the adults or children that you have back here, making the Outlander a true 5-passenger crossover. Of course, you still have the third row seats if necessary, but as I said before, I just don't think it'll be fitting anybody back there at all. But pretty good to see, though, for a vehicle in this market. And then on the driver's side, this seat is adjusted to someone of my height, around 5'5", and I have plenty of legroom back here where I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the driving experience. Also really cool to see as well is that we do have rear sunshades, so that way you have a bit more privacy, but also if you maybe are on your laptop or your iPad, you don't have that sun glaring down on that screen. Also back here, you do have 2 rear air vents to go along with climate control, 3-level heated outboard seats, a USB-C, USB input, and a 3-pronged outlet. And then rounding out the second row seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Now coming around to the back, you're going to receive a power liftgate. And you're probably wondering, and you're going to be asking, Mike, why aren't you showing the third row seats and also the cargo area behind the third row seats? Well, for one, Mitsubishi doesn't really give us any dimensions for the third row when it comes to legroom and even shoulder room. But also, since we do have the rear cargo cover installed on this model and I'm pressed for time, we're only going to check out the cargo space you have behind the second row seats. But I will give you the figures for the cargo area in total. So you're looking at right around 10 to 11 cubic feet of room when the third row seats are up, which is pretty typical for a crossover of this size that does offer a third row, and there's not many of them out there that do so. But when the third row seats are folded, you're looking at right around 33.5 cubic feet of room, which falls right in line with a lot of vehicles in this market, including the Subaru Forester and Subaru Outback, Mazda CX-5, and even the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. There's plenty of room here where you can go on that road trip with the family. I was able to fit all my camera gear today, no problems. That's 2 bags of camera gear, a gimbal box, a tripod, and also a cooler to keep myself refreshed on this very hot day. And I still had extra room to stack on even more items. So I think if you are going on that road trip, you could probably fit 8 to 9 bags of luggage back here. More impressively, though, is that when the second row seats are folded, you're looking at right around 78.5 cubic feet of room, making the Outlander plug-in hybrid one of the more spacious and practical vehicles in this segment. And that would be on par with the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. Also, another thing too that I really like to see is the fact that you do have quick release latches to continue to lower the second row seats, which is pretty rare to see. Not too many manufacturers give you that in the non-luxury markets. Then, of course, as mentioned before, you do have a rear cargo cover, which will keep all your valuable items out of sight. So if you are like me and you have camera gear or anything else of value, you can leave them back here and have that peace of mind knowing that no one will be able to peek in and steal what you have. And then once you're done, just press the button and the liftgate will close automatically. When you take a look at the plug-in hybrid market, I feel as though buyers know exactly what they're looking for vehicles in this price range and particular segments, more so than the EV buyer. A lot of EV buyers walk in with unreal expectations, where I feel as though people know exactly what a Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid, Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, or Toyota RAV4 Prime is going to offer. And because of that, every single person I talk to says the exact same thing as to why they bought one. They love the fact that they can go 30, 40 miles on a full electric charge without having to tap into the gas-powered engine or the range that comes along with that, where they have to go to the pump once or twice a week. Plug-in hybrids are the perfect commuter vehicle in more ways than one, because they are conventional, they're like the gas-powered models they're based on, but you get the benefits of going full EV. And for the Mitsubishi Outlander, you have 38 miles of electric range, and everything that encompasses it really helps provide a lot more value, especially with this market getting a bit crowded and maybe somewhat saturated with how many competitors are now in this space. For the Outlander though, you have a number of different trims to choose from, and I don't know if I would say the SEL is the best way to go. I think maybe you can go with an SE or even a base plug-in hybrid and still receive a lot of the creature comforts and what you're looking for in a compact crossover. But with this vehicle specifically, what you have is a crossover built on a really nice platform, a Nissan Rogue platform, and because of that you get Nissan technology with the full digital gauge cluster, nice infotainment system. Also, of course, on our model, we have a head-up display, but what I like the most though is the fact that the interior quality is very top-notch. Now, one thing I am a bit concerned about with plug-in hybrids is that they're not necessarily the most refined, because the gas-powered motor and the electric motors have to work in tandem. And as I discovered with the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, it wasn't the smoothest transition going from gas to electric. And I really have some regrets that I didn't focus on that during that review. Whereas with the Outlander, I have a bit more of an opportunity to really showcase that and what this vehicle is offering. Now, currently I'm in normal mode, and right off the bat, what I notice immediately is the fact that the 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine and electric motors work together far smoother, and because of that, the accelerations are far more refined than what I experienced in the Ford Escape. Now, some of this could be because the Escape uses an eCVT, where this is a 1-speed. And I'm noticing that there's really not as much droning, there's not as much lagging with this powertrain, at least when you're driving around in the city and the suburbs doing around 30, 40 miles an hour. And because of that, this just feels like a higher quality vehicle. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to experience a RAV4 Prime. Just like you guys, I can't find one at a Toyota dealership anywhere close to the Boston area. So at some point we'll be featuring that, and I'll have a more in-depth review on that vehicle and how it compares to, say, a Mitsubishi Outlander. But what I've experienced so far right now with the Outlander PHEV is that it kind of feels a bit smoother than the gas-powered vehicle I had reviewed about 2 years ago. The 2.4 liter Mitsubishi engine actually isn't that loud when you are cruising on these back roads, when you are cruising at around 40, 45 miles an hour, where you're not on the accelerator and you're not going full throttle, but we'll get an idea of that once I get on the highway. When it comes to ride quality, it feels really nice and smooth, and because it is 1,000 pounds heavier than a regular Outlander, you do have some sense of having a lower center of gravity, despite the fact you do sit pretty high up in this crossover, giving you a lot of vision to work with and also giving that safety that you're looking for in a compact crossover. Now, speaking of seeing position and also when it comes to the vision, you have a nice panoramic view. A-pillars are somewhat aggressive, so keep that in mind when you are approaching intersections. But then taking a look at your side mirrors, they are decently sized. I can see what's in my blind spots. And looking out back, you have a nice sized rear window, and I can see what's directly behind me. So a lot of vision here, and that really helps out with the seating position as well. And these seats are extremely comfortable. They provide a good amount of bolstering. Also, they are leather wrapped, so you just have that nice premium feel with this vehicle. So let's get on the highway here. I am going to put it in tarmac mode. So in tarmac mode, getting on the highway, you hear that 1-speed automatic transmission. Feels similar to a CVT. And getting up to speed really isn't that bad. Oh, a lot of power. Plenty of power. This provides a lot of confidence. And better yet, too, is that, again, there's smoothness to the accelerations here. Mitsubishi's 2.4 liter does a fantastic job, and I hear the electric noise or that electric whine, and really, the amount of torque that you have here as it's rolling is pretty impressive. It's not gasping for air, it's not gasping for more power like I had experienced with the Ford Escape. Now at highway speeds, it feels pretty composed on the roadways. Again, because you do have that extra weight due to the electric battery and the motors, it does feel pretty secure and planted on the roadways. What I also noticed too is that in tarmac mode, regen braking does kick in very slightly. So when you let off the throttle, you do feel it slow down a bit, like a traditional EV. But honestly though, this is pretty impressive. It is one of the more powerful options in the plug-in hybrid market, and you certainly feel that. It almost has an electric car-like performance when you do accelerate. It has that electric propulsion that some plug-in hybrids don't give you. So this almost feels like a tweener between being a gas-powered vehicle, a conventional crossover, and an electric crossover, which I think is a pretty nice balance. Now at highway speeds at around 65 miles an hour, road noise really isn't too bad. I'm not getting a lot of noise from the tires, interestingly enough. I'm hearing more wind noise, and that's to be expected for a crossover with squared off body lines. That's usually typical for an SUV like this. But honestly, interior insulation is what you would expect in this segment, and honestly, I wouldn't be complaining on a longer road trip. On the brakes, pretty strong actually. They have a nice grab to them. And then on this off-ramp, you feel the body roll, but it has a nice stiff feeling to the handling and the steering feel as well, which is not something I was expecting, because when you are in normal mode or even the other modes that Mitsubishi offers, the steering is light and fluid, typical for a crossover like this. But in tarmac mode, it does give you a sense of sportiness and agility that I was not anticipating for this vehicle. For most plug-in hybrids, I'm not going to say that they're enjoyable to drive or engaging, but for the Outlander, I feel that this is a bit more sporty than some of the competitors out there in this market. Because sure, you do get 38 miles of electric range, but you don't have to do so in a dull and boring fashion. Mitsubishi is giving you a crossover that feels dynamic in a way. It feels sporty, especially in tarmac mode. And the steering and accelerations are just all around fun. And also, you're not sitting there dealing with the transition of power from the 2.4 to the electric motors. And that has always been a concern of mine. So many vehicles don't yet feel refined. It doesn't yet feel like there's a partnership between gas and electric. And this, I feel, is a really nice alternative to what we see right now from Ford, from Hyundai, because it is going to be quicker than a lot of the rivals, especially since you do have over 240 horsepower and you're reaching into really impressive pound-feet of torque numbers as well. But as a commuter vehicle, is this a crossover that you can live with on a daily basis and not regret it? First and foremost, the 38 miles of electric range sits closer to the top in this market. It falls right in line with its closest competitors. But from a performance standpoint, I think that this is a bit more fun and exciting than what you find in some rivals. And a lot of that is because it has the performance to match its price point. When you're spending close to $50,000 and you're also getting one that is a bit more fuel efficient, you also want to have some enjoyment that comes along with it. And I think that's what the Outlander plug-in hybrid is giving you. Not only do you have a vehicle that has an exceptional amount of torque and also horsepower, but you also have a crossover that I think feels very upscale for its segment. Not only the technology falls right in line with its rivals, but also when it comes to the ride quality, this is really nice to see. And it definitely shows that Mitsubishi has gone a long way, that this is not just an affordable alternative in its segment, whether you're buying a traditional gas-powered Outlander or you're going with the plug-in hybrid. This is a viable means of transportation. It's also a legitimate rival to other plug-in hybrids. And if you are somebody that is trying to save some money, because there is some markups, especially for the Toyota RAV4 Prime, I think with the Mitsubishi Outlander, you're getting a fantastic value. So to quickly wrap up this review, the Mitsubishi Outlander is one of those vehicles that I really admire and truly enjoy in many ways. When I had reviewed this vehicle about 2 years ago, I was really impressed with what this particular generation had to offer. And a lot of that was because it was built on a Nissan platform, and it still is. It has Nissan technology, it has a similar interior layout, and that is not a detriment at all to what this vehicle is giving you. When it comes to the plug-in hybrid, it builds off of all those qualities, but it is going to create a bit of a learning curve because it's not utilizing a Nissan powertrain. But like I said during the test drive, when it comes to plug-in hybrids, it's all about the range you get in full EV mode, and then everything else encompasses that and really helps give you a lot of value in return for what you're paying for. And when you compare this to other plug-in hybrids in this segment, and I'm thinking the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid that I had recently reviewed, that vehicle was over $50,000, and this one comes in at just under 50 grand. And I really feel as though that the Mitsubishi Outlander is giving you quite a bit. In fact, it's a great alternative to a Toyota RAV4 Prime. This particular platform gives this vehicle a lot of refinement in many ways, and the plug-in hybrid is no different. I think you're going to enjoy what this vehicle is giving you. The fact that it does have close to 40 miles of range on a full EV charge or electric charge, I think is going to go a long way. It's a great commuter, and also it's a great family road trip vehicle. It's really, in my mind, two vehicles combined into one. If you are somebody who is looking at buying an EV but you're not quite sure, this is where I think the plug-in hybrids really showcase what they can offer and the value they provide, and the Outlander is no different. So if you are looking at buying a plug-in hybrid, definitely have the Mitsubishi Outlander on your list of considerations. I think it's a great choice right now in 2023, especially with the markups as high as they are from rivals, whereas this, you're getting a great value under $50,000. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram at Boston Autoblog so you can see what I'm up to and what vehicles I'll be featuring in the future. And I will see you guys next time.